Can we turn on the torches? Those little lights on?
You want to turn that one on? I feel like I stole yours. You went to reach for it. I was like, nope.
I know there's some people who probably just tuned in and may be watching on Twitch, and or you'll be watching later on. My name is Stan Smith. I'm the game master today. I am very fortunate to be playing with a bunch of really experienced players, some of them DMs themselves, so we're looking to see a really cool game today. Before we start, I'm going to go around the table. Everyone's going to introduce themselves and who they're playing. It'll be short and simple. Then we're going to jump straight into the campaign called Till Death Do Us Part. Starting over here.
My name is Jesse. I will be playing Silas Bellington Jr., a smith and artificer known for building things such as clocks and astrolabes. And somehow found his way here.
Cool.
James, I'll be playing Garuk Big Fist, Goliath Barbarian. Really, the only thing he's good at is using his big fists.
I'm Michael. I'll be playing Bimpy Zookwinkle. I'm a forest gnome druid, pretty much known for keeping to himself and playing with animals, and that's all.
I am Eonis Intweet. I'm a tiefling rogue and with a shady past and mystery.
Okay.
Gary, I'm playing Ilium Bleakfarrow, who is known for transporting items to people who otherwise would like to receive said items.
Awesome. Okay. So we're about to start. Before we do so, just heads up with you guys. And I may ask you to speak up louder, only because it is being broadcast. Anybody watching at home really can't hear, or there's a problem with dialogue. Walter Ortiz, the man of the hour, he's manning the 1 and 2s in the back. Just type in the chat, hey, we can't hear, or Eonis, I can't hear him speaking. Bippy, I can't hear what he's saying. And then he'll let us know and we'll pick it up from there. So, without further ado, let's begin our game. The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or heard. The most beautiful things must be felt within your heart. But does the heart blur what is true love or obsession? What's good or evil? Or what's life or death? More importantly, will your legacy be defined by the words you speak or the actions that you take? And will you live long enough to see yourself become the hero or transform into something much darker? It is the 13th moon of the fall equinox within the Dell lands of Faerun. A modest city called Highdale is celebrating the union between the governor's daughter, the Duchess Cassandra Brightwood, and Lord Robert Kincaid of House Kincaid. Eonis, you are a guard of the city watch who's been tasked to oversee this wedding reception with another guard, a close friend of yours, Mercury. Currently, the both of you are at this main entrance, and you're checking invitations to make sure they're all in order and no party crashers enter this reception. Boredom occasionally sets in from where you're at because you're watching the upper class enjoying themselves, and with you, Eonis, you truly feel that things in your life need to change because something is destined greater, but you just don't know what. As you're standing here during the commotion, Mercury next to you sort of leans towards you. Hey, doesn't it bother you sometimes how only the best looking men and lords and dukes get the chance to try and win the hand of people like the Duchess?
Well, you're looking at one of the best looking men here. So, probably. But, whatever.
Okay. Now, just for you, the rest of you, at this reception hall for the Duchess, it is a grand reunion put together by the governor. There are torches and braziers and brass chandeliers hanging from all across the ceiling. All about the celebration, the sounds of music, friendly chatter consume this great hall. Tables are filled with all sorts of local dishes like savory pork, spiced lamb, and seasoned vegetables, with, of course, freshly baked goods. In the center of this hall is a large gathering area used for dancing. This separates the banquet into two halves. But to the north, a long, decorated table rests on a stone dais. At this dais sits Governor Brightwood, several aristocrats, and of course our guests of honor, the newlyweds, Cassandra Brightwood and Lord Robert Kincaid. Now, though the newlyweds are in their early 20s, it's obvious from everyone attending, they are both truly in love. At this moment, Ionis, an older couple, probably in their 60s, well-dressed, they approach, holding each other by the arm. The older man pulls out an invitation and gives it to you. Mercury, your buddy Mercury rolls his eyes. You get this invitation to look at. When you look at this invitation, I need you to make an investigation roll.
That's 11.
An 11. As you look at this, the names on it say Mr. and Mrs. Blackwell of Blackwell's Goods and Trades, and based on your experience, this is a legit invitation. They both look at you.
Alright, everything checks out. Going.
Thank you, my lord. And this older man and his wife slowly float into the reception hall. At that moment, a short, stocky dwarf wearing an oversized formal outfit approaches you. He has a dark beard, but it's one long braid. He looks up with a forced smile at you and then at your buddy Mercury. He steadily holds up an invitation and he squints his eyes as he gives it to you. Make a perception roll, please. Oh, okay. As you grab the invitation from him, you immediately notice his outfit. It's kind of odd that his outfit for such an informal occasion is very large, and you see that he has dirt and mud at the bottom of his shoes. He seems pretty nervous as he gives you this invitation. As you look at it, the invitation says the name of Frederick Fireforge, and you start to squint as you look at this paper. Make another perception roll, an investigation, I'm sorry.
Investigation.
Yes, a nat 1.
3 altogether.
Yes, good.
To you, the invitation looks legit. Mercury's looking at you. Does it look legit?
Looks fine to me. You take a look.
Mercury looks at it. It looks fine to me. Maybe it's gonna be a fun afternoon. Here you go, little fella. And he hands the dwarf the invitation. The dwarf starts to make his way in, sort of smiles at both of you, and you see the sweat going down his face. But it's a legit invitation to this reception. It is what it is, Ionis.
Maybe he sweats a lot.
Mercury adjusts his belt, sort of leans towards you and says, "This may be a long evening, buddy, but I'll tell you what, it makes me kind of nervous to have so many strangers together in one place."
This probably would be a good setup for something bad to happen, but these things will be more exciting than what's going on now.
We'll see, my man, we'll see. Now, Silas, you are sitting with your family and friends enjoying this reception, and sitting next to you is your older sister, Juliana. The Cassandra is actually your cousin, and the governor is your uncle. As you're sitting there enjoying this meal with everybody at your table, your sister, Juliana, reaches to her plate with a fork and picks up a big piece of meat, steak, and she just, with a disgusted look on her face, slaps it in front of you. You know she's a vegetarian.
Oh, my dear, certainly the chef did not know that you required special foods.
Little brother, you're absolutely right, but I tell you what, there's a lot of things people don't know. And then she sort of leans next to you to whisper in your ear, and she says to you, "In fact, little brother, do you know how our cousin Cass ended up meeting Lord Kincaid?"
Actually, I don't believe I ever heard that one fully.
Would you like to know, little brother?
Certainly. And as he does that meat that she slapped over, he kind of slides his plate over slightly, and the owl kind of just starts getting at it.
Make a persuasion roll, charisma.
Okay. I believe that's going to be a yes. Not very charismatic. That's going to be a 10.
Well, it's
-1.
You actually needed something lower. She finds that you're intrigued, and she sort of leans next to you. She points over at the table adjacent to you, closer to the dais. You know, little brother, many people throughout the Dalelands have been trying to get Cass's hand in marriage. But there's one individual, one suitor, by the name of Count Armin Mortis from Sesrindale. You see, Armin became obsessed with our cousin Cassandra. Armin's obsession for Cassandra was so unnerving our uncle, the governor, he forbid the Count from courting her anymore. Regardless, Armand continued to stalk Cassandra, brother. And it wasn't until our dad, or our uncle, banned him from the Highlands and labeled Armand Mortis as a nuisance. Well, since Count Armin couldn't handle the rejection, little brother, he ended up killing himself. And the reason why I gestured to that table is because the old woman sitting in the corner, that's Lady Amelia. That's Count Armin's mother. Now, you look over at the other table and you see there's an older woman with a wrinkly face. She's in her 60s. She has bleached white hair. She has it up in a bun. She's wearing a dark blue robe and a red gown with a ceremonial hood. Make a perception roll.
I was just about to ask, does she look like she's having a good time?
That's good.
21?
That's perfect. She, out of all the excitement that's going on, you almost feel sad for her because she has a fake smile on her face, but you could tell she's mourning. She's very sad and she's under emotional distress. But next to her is a very large, brooding man, intimidating looking. He's in his late 50s, short, graying hair, multiple scars on his face, and a large, squared chin. His name is Griswold the Black, Juliana says to you. And Griswold is wearing formal military uniform with ceremonial armor. He has a blue hooded cape with a wolf pelt on his shoulder. Make up another perception roll.
Time for the sound effect. I got a 4.
I can't help you with this one. All you can tell from Griswold as his eyes, his dark eyes scan the reception, everyone having a good time, he has a look of disgust and disdain about his face. And lastly, Juliana says to you, little brother, do you know the history of where they live?
I can't say I do.
Well, let's make a history roll and find out.
Yeah, I actually took that as a... It's going to be, I believe that's going to be a 21 again.
That's all you need.
Yes.
You do remember from your schooling in geography, where they're from in Sesrindale, the Mortis clan, they reside in the shadows of the Thunder Peak Mountains. Now, the village, Sesrindale, was once enemy of the state because practitioners, long time ago, used to delve in the dark arts and alchemy. So Juliana says, little brother, enjoy the steak if you can. I'm just going to sit back and watch everyone look stupid and have a good time.
It's like, I'm certain Mortimer will enjoy your serving.
Right.
That longhorn owl just...
Picks at the food. Awesome. Daruk, the Goliath barbarian. You, sir, are a renowned sword for hire and an avid gambler within the Dalelands. You actually won an invitation to this wedding during a card game the day prior. You find yourself sitting at a table filled with other local merchants and diplomats. A female wearing a tight-fitting shirt with her breasts popping out and a tight corset walks over with a tray of several glasses. She starts placing these empty glasses amongst you, in front of you and the other people at the table. A generous man at the table wearing very nice clothing, a noble, reaches and pulls out a very large wine flask. He begins pouring it around the table. His eyes meet yours, and it's a friendly gesture as he goes but stops.
Is that strong?
For you, my friend, we will find out.
Fill it up.
As he's pouring it, and you're hearing the lovely sound of trickling wine filling up a cup, this man says to you, and everyone at the table, to honor the newlyweds we drink and gamble. He says that, and he takes a velvet pouch filled with coins and plops it in the middle of the table. We will honor them by playing the drinking game. The last one who's not intoxicated wins the pouch, he says to you.
I like this game.
Okay, the way this is gonna work, every round you roll a 20-sided die.
Yeah.
Everyone takes a shot the first round. So anybody gets a 1, they're out.
Okay.
Second round, you take another shot. Anyone gets 2 and under is out. Third round, 3 and under and out. And you can use your constitution bonus.
Okay.
But let's go. We have 5 people at the table. I'll make 5 rolls. First roll.
No. Start up.
Amazing. What did you get?
An 8.
Everybody squishes down the first round of drinks and slam their cups down. The barmaid grabs the wine flask and starts filling everybody's cups up again. Round 2, let's go.
Get lower.
Of course. One of my guys is out, so there's down to 4.
I roll a 10.
You're good. You're drinking. Everyone's looking pretty glassy-eyed now. Round 3. That guy's out. Amazing. I have another guy out, so I have 2. You got
4
4
total.
It has to be under, so you're good. Whoa. You're getting pretty glassy-eyed. Your next roll is going to be a disadvantage.
Okay,
Right up. Now there's 2 people left. The guy who threw the money down, another person, and yourself. You need a 5 or higher with disadvantage.
Another one.
And you suddenly get so glassy-eyed, you hold up your drink, and you vomit on the floor. The man who started the gambling puts his hand on your large back, and he rubs your back. It's okay, my lad. Your luck will finally show its face, hopefully, this evening.
What was in that?
Homebrew, my lad. Homebrew. Not bad for a Goliath. Wipe it, look around, your eyes are glassy, and you're trying to get your equilibrium back to normal.
Is there food on the table?
Yes, there is.
Can I grab it?
Oh yeah, and you start pounding down.
Shoving it in there. I miss a little bit.
We now shift to the dance floor. Bippy, today you're celebrating the wedding of your older sister, the Duchess Cassandra, to the handsome Lord Robert Kincaid. You, like many others of this wedding, had a bit too much to drink. Now you find yourself on this dance floor with these people to celebrate your sister's union. And as the music plays, a friend of yours, Matthias Caldwell, sort of staggers close to you at the dance floor. Both your eyes meet, he smiles, you smile at him. He looks at you and he says to you, "My friend, my tiny little friend." He sort of rubs your cheek, and you're used to that. "Let's honor your sister with a dance-off."
Matthias! Fimpy is so happy to see you! Matthias, how you be?
The people around you cheer, and the dance-off is going to start.
Oh, it sounds like somebody crashes the cast. It's fine.
Fimpy is ready to win.
The way this is going to work, the DM is going to roll a 20-sided die. You and Matthias will be rolling also. Whoever gets closest will win that round. 4 rounds of dancing. So, DM rolls. I'll wait for it.
That's pretty good for
DM rolls a 7 roll.
16.
And Matthias, to try to keep up the dance moves, a 2.
Closer.
You win the first round as you're gliding across the floor, doing cartwheels. Second round, DM rolls an 18.
20. Fimpy.
Matthias. Oh. He's slipping and staggering. You are an amazing dancer on this dance floor. The crowds are all gathering around, cheering. Third round, the DM, the number 6.
19! Bimpy!
A 1! But I still beat you.
I know.
So you're 2 to my 1. Use a dice to keep track. First one to get 4 wins. I got 1.
Got it.
DM rolls. You're a 2, right? 20. Who gets the closest to a 20?
4.
An 11. Hey, Matthias now is picking up his game. What? DM rolls. 7.
10.
5.
Closer.
You are closer. Is that 4?
That's 3.
One more. The dancing competition is going, and for the rest of you, you see this going on. It's kind of humorous seeing this little gnome dancing with this large guy. And most of you know that this gnome is the younger brother of Cassandra. 18.
13.
Wow. 13. You guys are doing equals Lombardi shit. A 4.
18. Oh, no.
11. This is it. 3. DM rolls. 14.
7.
Matthias. A 3.
Not bad.
Suddenly, people start lifting up your body and starts dancing around. You sort of glance over at the dais and you see your sister, Cassandra, smiling with a proud look on her face. She happens to hold up a silver chalice, a rare silver chalice. She looks at you and takes a sip out of it, and she couldn't be prouder. You look at your father, the governor. He's a little tipsy, but he too is very proud that you represented and honored your sister with dance. Good job, baby.
Yeah.
Not all the people at this wedding, by the way, are here to have fun or play. Ilium, you are the trusted bodyguard of Lord Robert Kincaid. Robert is celebrating his marriage to the Duchess Cassandra Brightwood. Everyone at this great hall, they're all celebrating the wedding, and they're all having a good time. But not you, you're a professional. You're here for a reason, to protect this man you've been protecting for the past decade. Even though this is a festival to celebrate the union of the Duchess and your lord, you are still ever vigilant, standing alone, watching everything. As you quietly survey this area, a waiter approaches you holding a tray with several wooden mugs with foam dripping down the sides. Hello, would you like a drink, please? He sort of looks at you very well, and he turns and he walks away. Your eyes are still scanning the place, for something is making you uneasy. Make a perception roll. You is going to be low roll, so it'll be alright.
18. No. Yeah, 18.
As you're scanning the area, your eyes happen to look at the large, narrow domed windows throughout this hall. It is evening. The thing that catches your attention is the moon. It almost appears blue, and the shadows on the craters, the shadows of the moon make the moon look like a skull. Make another perception roll.
21.
Wow. You notice, slinking around the tables is a black cat with a mouse in its mouth. It's quietly going under the tables between the legs of all the guests. No one notices it, but you. Make another perception roll. Shit.
23.
23. That was a nat 20, ladies and gentlemen. You see in the distance at the far end of the reception hall a ladder that's commonly used to replace the candles in the chandeliers. You see a drunk guest stumbling under the ladder without a care in the world and walking by itself. All these signs are making you very weary and uncomfortable. You glance over at the dais, and you see Robert Kincaid. Even though he's having a good time, his eyes meet yours. He holds up a silver chalice to honor you because he knows you're here to work and not to play. And he takes his zip and he bows his head towards you.
I bow back.
Very good. At that moment, a drunk patron approaches you, holding a drink in a mug and it's spilling all over the place. His breath smells of alcohol. Oi! What's your name?
Ilium.
Ilium! Why aren't you drinking? Now he's being pretty loud and obnoxious. And he's standing there, he sort of stands in front of you to get your attention.
It's like, oh, I've had some earlier. I'll have some later.
What? You wearing a funny outfit? I see some type of maybe honor or something. What's your problem?
Problem? I have no problem. This is my ceremonial gown.
Make a perception roll.
18.
Whether he's doing it on purpose or inadvertently, he's keeping you from watching what's going on. Hey, you ain't smiling either. What's your problem? He's becoming more and more obnoxious as this conversation's going.
I holds up his hand and he glances around for it.
Okay.
To see if there's anything abnormal that I've manifest.
No.
He goes, I don't have any problem. I'm just here to perform a task.
Make an intimidation roll for me, please.
Nice.
You say that, and this drunkard actually stops and looks at you and sees how serious you are, and you sort of see his hand shaking as more of this ale just drips down. All right, chap. All right. And he slowly backs away from you immediately. Nice job. An hour into the reception, the governor stands up and he holds up his hand. Trumpets blare off in the hall. As he raises his hands, all the guests return to their seats, except for you. You're stationed at the door with Mercury. Mercury sort of leans towards you. Here's the part where they all blow smoke up the governor's ass.
So the boring parts, huh?
The boring parts, my brother. And he sort of holds up a fist for a fist pump. The governor says, as everyone sits and he stands at the dais between both Cassandra and Lord Robert. As the proud father of Duchess and my new handsome son-in-law, Lord Robert, I want to take this opportunity to thank all of you in attendance for attending their reception. And as tradition, is there anyone who wishes to address the newlyweds? This is the time to do it. And the governor sits down, and everyone's sort of looking across the hall. You're gonna stay in your corner, do your thing, right?
He's gonna stay in his corner.
Okay. Mercury looks at you and says, "Wow, this is the blowing part." You guys sort of giggle, but you try to remain professional. Juliana sits at you and says, "This will be interesting. Don't you think, little brother?"
I would certainly say. I wonder if anybody has anything important to say this time.
You're sitting there gnawing on this big piece of bone, and your eyes are sort of looking around like, "What the hell's going on?" And the barbarian Goliath is eating and just looking around. This is what a kind of curious look. And you're sitting at a table with other family, and you're all waiting to say something. Are you gonna get up and say something? You're just gonna.
No, smart enough, wise enough not to.
Okay. The lady with the hood. Let's get her out, and the guy with the armor, the white hair. Yep, give me those two. Put these two facing the dais, right at the bottom of the stairs. Yep, right there. Yep,
I
perfect.
kind of lean over to Juliana and like,
Juliana says, "Little brother, this will be interesting. I wonder what Lady Amelia is going to have to say." The older woman walks up, and this large, older knight in his ceremonial garb is holding her arm to arm. He sort of lets her go and takes a few steps back. He takes out his weapon, he places it down on the ground, and he stands in a ceremonial stance staring at the dais. And Lady Amelia goes to speak. "The House Mortis thanks the governor for the invite," she says. But my son's weakness for rejection is not shared by all of us. For many people feel my son was, what is the word the Highlands say, weak? Though I do miss my son dearly, Cassandra, you honor, made a good choice with Lord Robert. When she says that, you sort of get chills behind your neck. But both Cassandra and Lord Robert, you guys see they have big smiles on their faces and they're enjoying their drinks in these chalices. To show no ill will, Lady Amelia says. The newlyweds, they are drinking from the chalices of House Mortis that have been passed down for generations. But lastly, Governor, she says, may the gods comfort you during this time of grief. She says that. Everyone in the hall sort of looks at each other. And almost in a slow motion, the sounds of two chalices falling and hitting the main table turns everybody's attention to the dais. You notice both newlyweds are standing grabbing their throats. Their faces are pale and they're gagging and they crash to the floor. The governor gets up and he's like, what's going on? Lady Amelia, almost with a sadistic smile on her face, says, in 4 hours, you too, Governor, will see what it's like to suffer the loss of a child. Suddenly, everyone starts freaking out and starts talking and chattering goes and filling up the area. You see your lord drop. You see your cousin Cassandra fall and your sister drop on the ground. Everyone's concerned and freaking out. You see this and you're like, you're still eating, but you sort of stop and you look around. Mercury looks at you and says, this might be our time to shine, my friend.
So with that one, the dagger in my sword.
And you see Mercury looks at you and also withdraws his weapons. The governor says, guards, somebody seize them! At that moment, Griswold the Black takes his weapon and swirls around this massive sword. He gets into a defensive stance. I do not expect to leave here alive, but I do expect to take some of you with me. And he sort of takes back. The two guards at the front of the dais rush him, and in lightning speed, drops them both. Blood sprays across the floor of the dance. Let me get those two guards out of there. Let's do group initiative to see what we're going to be doing. 5, of course. Okay, anybody get 15 to 20?
17.
I have been 20.
20? Okay, Ilium, I have Daruk. Alright, 10 to 15?
I am at
15? 11. And last, Silas. Okay. So we have Ilium, Daruk, Vimpy, Ionis, Griswold, and then Silas. Lady Amelia is actually... I'm sorry, Silas. Lady Amelia is actually being held back by two patrons at the party. Ilium, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna Eldritch Blast him, seeing as how he's so much faster than two guards at the same time.
Okay.
From where I'm at.
Alright, and his AC, I have it right here. Go for it. That is a hit. A blast of energy shoots from your hand, slides across the dance floor, hitting him square in his chest. The whole area lights up with a flash of energy. Roll damage.
10.
Wow. He is yeah, he's bloody. Woo. Good shot. Smoke sizzles and pops up from his armor as he quickly turns his sword, looks at you, and his eyes are wide as he's in shock, but then he grills and frowns and looks at you and holds his sword.
He pulls out his sickle and
Gestures like that?
gestures, yeah.
Nice. Daruk, you see this action going on, bodies that hit the floor and bloods, and you're familiar with that smell, fills the banquet hall. What would you like to do? You're over there.
Yeah. I look to the person next to me and I slap down my food and I say, I guess it's time for Baruch. And I would.
When you say that, your table yells out.
I would like to pull out a javelin.
Okay.
Is the lady still right there?
The lady is over there with the hook.
The lady,
She's next to you, yes.
she's right there.
Yep, she's like in awe. They're all watching what's going on. Everyone's in shock.
He's gonna climb on the table and like start running that way with a javelin in his hand. And then once he gets a clear shot, he's gonna just chuck it.
Alright, let's do it.
I guess 30 feet.
Any kind
of issues climbing over the table?
Let's make a dexterity roll, but I'll give you advantage.
Okay.
And your DC is gonna be 10.
Okay. So dex or
Now,
acrobatics?
either or. Now, if you fail this roll, you still get your attack, but it'll be a disadvantage.
Sure. Okay. Skills, acrobatics.
The rook jumps up on the table.
Advantage is a 15.
And he does it. All the food goes scattering all around. Glasses shatter. You stay on the table like a Hulk. Let's put him on there.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna move 30 feet.
Okay.
Well, I don't know how that.
You figure each. Yeah. You're.
10?
Yeah, that's fine. Look at each box, each little square. Oh, 4 squares is 5 feet.
Okay, I got you. 15, 20, 25, 30.
Perfect.
Is that
Yeah,
a shot?
Yeah, I'll give you a shot. Let's move
Okay.
Lady Amelia to the side of the dais, right there.
Right there?
Put him more towards the middle, right? Perfect. Yep.
Cool. Alright, I'm gonna just huck a javelin. That's within 30 feet.
Yep.
Nat 20.
What?
Damn.
So that's 6. Oh, no, wrong dice. 7 plus 3, 10 points of piercing damage.
And you sit back with your javelin and describe to everyone how you kill Griswold.
I guess this is my time. And I jump up on the table and I just clatter through everything and I just get down and I just chuck it right into his chest.
And he drops, and it's impaled, and he gags, and he falls straight to the ground. Let's go to Bimpy.
At this point, I think Bimpy is gonna be all mad. He just saw his sister fall, choking in. I'm gonna rush as fast as
Okay, let's do that.
that gnome can go.
Go, little buddy, the Dance King!
5, 10, 15.
Don't worry about that. Where do you want to go? To the
I'm
dais?
gonna go right here.
Next to Lady Amelia?
Hell yeah.
Okay, she's being held down.
Hell yeah.
Let's take 2 of those tokens and put it next to her. These are any of those 2, yeah. So,
Next to her.
yeah, so they're basically holding her. You run over to her. Now at the dais, you have everyone at the dais is trying to tend to the now fallen, unconscious Lord Robert Kincaid and Cassandra. Okay, you run over to her. What would you like to do?
I tell her, Bimpy wants to know how to fix Cassandra. Tell Bimpy now.
Okay. Her head slowly turns towards you. Her eyes appear much darker. All the commotion around you and the anxiety starts to get quiet. She smiles at you and says, "My little gnome, there's nothing you can do. For the poison that courses through their veins is necrotic. And the only way to stop necrotic poison, well, you might have to ask your clergy or cleric." She sort of gestures over to the dais, and you see there is a cleric trying to tend to the bodies. She laughs again. "Don't you know this is a skull moon? This is just the beginning for your house, for all will fall and suffer what they've done to my child Armand." She's clearly deranged. Alright, so I'm gonna go to Jonas. Like you running over there? Let's take you and Mercury and put you both over there. Somebody can move
All the
those.
way?
Yep, all the way over there.
Super speed.
As I go up there, I'm like, someone put this kind lady on ice. Wait a minute, I can do it myself. And
Okay. So most people move out the way because you are a guard. You and Mercury. Mercury sort of looks around. He goes over to Lady Amelia. He goes and he puts ropes and restraints on her. What are you gonna do?
I just, do we have any manacles or anything like that?
You have ropes that are used. Yeah.
Okay, so I looked at everyone else. I'm like, get her out of here. I don't know what else she has planned. So
Mercury says to you, "I got it, friend," and he grabs her and he starts taking her and escorting her away with those other 2 guys. So let's give me the lady on those 2 tokens.
Lady and 2 tokens.
Yeah. And give me Mercury, the token right there. Yep. Lastly, what are you gonna do?
I'm also checking on the lake.
Okay, who are you looking at?
At Bloodreed.
Okay, you see the gnome looks very upset as he just heard something that sort of traumatized him. The Dancing King is actually frozen in his tracks, and it is concerning to you as you pick it up.
What's going on? What did she say to you?
Lady told Blimpy.
You speak up.
Lady told Blimpy that it is necrotic poison, and only cleric can help.
Let's seek out the cleric and see what he has to say. Or she.
Blimpy agrees.
All right. Now this is going on, and the conversation, everyone. But there's one person sitting in the shadows watching all this who actually did a lot of damage to him with a magic eldritch blast, and that is this gentleman over here. It is Ilium. It's your turn, sir. Oh wait, Silius? I'm sorry. What would you like to do? I'm sorry.
See, Silas would he would stand up and he snaps his fingers twice, and Mortimer stops faffing about and jumps on his shoulder alert.
And Mortimer is a raven or an owl?
He's an owl.
Okay, an owl jumps on you. Yep.
He's a long-eared owl.
And now you saw what happened. It is your cousin and your family that has been fell ill.
I would rush over, since I saw this happen. I would rush over to, if possible, to go that far, to head over to the main table.
Let's do that. I'm not going to be just put him over there.
And the immediate thing they became suspicious of is that he had heard her mention that they were drinking from chalices from House
Make a
Mortis.
perception roll to see if you picked up on that, because that was between Bimby and...
Oh, it was?
Yeah, but if you have a good, make a roll.
Sorry about that.
Oh, you heard it. Okay.
22.
You did hear it.
And I would go over to the table and try to snatch one of them up, and I would try to look it over.
The chalice?
Yeah.
Okay, let's make a Arcana check.
Okay. 19.
Picking it up and looking at the chalice, it looks like a normal, beautiful silver chalice until you look into the inside. You swear you see a glimmer of purple energy and hear whispers fading inside the cup. You know this is necrotic magic at its best, that poisoned your cousin and her new husband.
What Juliana had mentioned offhand seems to have come to pass. This is no good.
Okay, when that is said, you see this commotion going on. Are you gonna make your way over?
Yeah, he makes his way over. He goes up and joins him actually.
Okay.
And addresses you. He's like, what is that you have there?
I would tilt the glass toward you and show you the strange energies held within. It appears that these cups have been tampered with.
As you say that, he looks up out of the window and he goes, there were quite a few bad omens, but I couldn't link them to the crone.
Seems they had planned this somehow, but what is the happenstance that such an event would be held on such a time?
And so, destiny is bringing together strangers with a common cause for something evil is afoot. Mercury joins again, placing Amelia into a prison. Put him next to you. At that moment, a cleric standing next to the governor looks with a sad, defeated look as he looks about the crowd. The cleric walks down to all of you, and it's an older man, balding on the top, white hair, wearing a long ceremonial robe with a large sun symbol on his shirt. This is not good, my friends. I will try and stay, and he's not addressing just you, he's addressing everyone. I will try and stay and do what I can to help the newlyweds, but if what Lady Amelia says is true, the only way to stop necrotic poison is with necrotic elements. And the only way you can do this is with the bone dust of a lich. The governor, who's bawling in tears, says, "A lich! What in the seven hells is a lich?" The cleric answers, "It is an undead creature, my lord, that lives deep within the bowels of where the dead dwell. And the only such rumors of a lich I know of can be found within the Shadow Hill Cemetery in the forbidden part of the Lurkwood Forest. But my lord, everyone who's gone there has never returned. But since we have no other choice, this may be our only option." Now, at that moment, as you hear the words and everybody else does, the whole place falls quiet. The governor gets up, his eyes are red, tears are falling down his face. Is there anyone? Anyone that will save my daughter and her husband? Anyone? And now at that moment, Mercury, knowing how you feel, Leon, that destiny is upon you, sort of leans next to you. Don't do it. Don't do it, he says to you.
Maybe I can try to figure out something and get a group together.
You hear this one voice stand up and proudly step forward. The governor looks around. Is there anyone else?
I would like to walk over and grab my put my foot on his chest and like pull my javelin out and just look and go, I'll help.
Okay, you got two standing next to each other.
Silas will turn around and say,
Well, I wouldn't be much family if I didn't lend a hand somehow. So count me in.
You walk over.
I raise my quarterstaff and say, Bimpy will go!
And last but not least,
Twirls his sickle and says, I would spend 10 years protecting this man for some old hag that killed him.
and the governor looks over at all of you very proud. Everybody else in the reception hall has looks on like you are the heroes. And the governor says, may the gods protect this fellowship, grant them haste, and please give them the power to bring back my daughter, he yells. And at that moment, the fellowship is born. And we're going to take a break. I'm going to set up the next piece, and you guys are going to head out to try and help Cassandra and Robert.
I'm gonna loot his body.
He has a long sword on him, nothing else of value. His armor is all melted away because of a certain eldritch blast.
I'll take that long
Got
sword.
him.
Put it in your inventory.
And a spear to the, or a javelin to
Okay, so we're gonna take a break. I'm gonna set up a new location, and then we'll be right back. Walter?